This is a quick story of how I became a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. But it's when I could crazy, you know it. Ever since the Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez.
And I, the real orange bag lady.
If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I love you all. And everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi.
Hi, Dashi. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the stream today. We got the one and only Randy Chavez in the house. How's it going, bud?
I'm doing all right. I am just hanging out. I'm chilling. Just got some breaded grilled chicken from the grocery store. How about yourself?
Heck yes. Can't beat a bit of grilled chicken, you know, on when we were just saying you had a bit of a rough tummy yesterday, so that's definitely the go-to. Nice, something nice. But yeah, man, good. Glad to hear you're feeling better as well. But yeah, not much today, dude. Been having a chilled one. Haven't really been on Twitter much today, so I haven't really been seeing what the crack is with the fam and whatnot. But yeah. So we were going to touch on the stream from Reese last night. I wasn't able to catch much of it. So I know it was mostly based on OMI token, which is really exciting to hear. We haven't had too many specific chats, like as of recent, on the OMI token. But what were some of the takeaways? Fill us in. What got you excited?
So I left that a lot more bullish in which I started. Which I don't know how you can, it's very hard for me to get even more bullish, but I was. And I was so bullish that my friend Mike gave me a call yesterday, or he left me a message, but I gave him a call back. He lives in Hawaii, so it was at like 2 a.m, so it was like 8 p.m. for him. And he happened to get an inheritance, and I said, okay, well, to make this easy, let's figure that it's $100,000. And I said, out of that 100,000, you know, let's say half of it goes into Bitcoin, 25% goes to Ethereum. And then I like other stuff too. I like Solana, I like CRO, Cardano, and Binance Coin. But I said the other 25% should be in OMI. And obviously with him, because he has kids, you know, he has a family, I thought should be a little bit safer, but he should still have a lot or a good amount of percentage of OMI in his portfolio. And part of the reason was because of last night, because Reese had said many different things, but starting with the OMI utility, one of the questions that Akil Patterson had asked him was like, at what point do you think we will have full utility, and when? Like, when will that 100% be fully rolled out? He didn't specify on when he would start out the OMI utility, but he said between the raffles and the OMI betting and the staking and OMI to NFT, everything should be 100% rolled out within 4 quarters. So within 1 year.
Wow. Okay.
So that doesn't mean that we would have to wait like 10 or 11 months for things to start to roll out. I think things should start to roll out over the next couple of months, because we already have MTL starting to roll out. We already have the exchange Bitmart that he touched on a little as well. He had said that for Bitmart, that was one of the ones we were supposed to get last May. Like non-fungible wonderful. Been there since May. Now we're in September. And the only reason we didn't get that is because we were on the Go chain, but now we're on the Ethereum blockchain. So outside of Bitmart, that is coming like tomorrow. Actually, it should come in, what is it, so it should be about 16 hours you will be able to buy OMI on Bitmart.
Wow.
That should help a lot of US people instead of having to go through 17 steps to go get on Bit4X. Excuse me. But then he had mentioned that we also have, within this same year, the same year that which OMI utility will come out, we should have another 4 to 5 exchanges that they're planning on. And they had actually hired a coin listing expert. So they had one person specifically dedicated, that's their whole job, like 40 hours a week. And I don't know if that is he's just there like saying, hey, we should delay exchanges now because of X, Y, and Z, and he's trying to time them, or he's just the person that's saying like, oh, okay, we need to get this. We need like the articles of incorporation, and then we need like the last 3 years of tax returns. And he's in charge of that, so that David and Dan and Reese don't have to do that. He didn't specify what exactly his role was, but he is a specialist, hopefully to make the onboarding easier. And that being said, even if it's only 4 out of the 4 to 5 exchanges that we get, even if 2 of them, say half, are kind of like Bitmart, where they're smaller than KuCoin, they're not crazy exciting, we still had like a 15% pump because of KuCoin. So we could see that twice more with some smaller exchanges. Then I would figure a medium-sized exchange like a KuCoin, a Kraken, or like a Crypto.com, whatever.
Mm.
But then I think one of those exchanges will be either Coinbase or Binance. So yeah,
God damn.
And that does not include any other exchanges that would want to list us just because they want to list us. Like Gate.io, we have that. We didn't have an agreement with them. They're just like, yeah, we're just going to list you guys. Like, okay. So I do expect that to happen as well. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Exchanges. That's definitely something that I know that the community has been, absolutely gagging for over the past year. But yeah, I think the fact that they're I'm sure this guy is a part of their scaling technique, and bringing in somebody who is specifically directed to deal with this one, item on the itinerary. That's exciting. That's really good news.
Yeah, and it goes into what they're using their money for. Which was one of the other questions that was going over. It says like, hey, like it wasn't saying how much money they're making. It's like, what are they using it for? And Reese gave a relatively kind of like typical response, like just expansion. And well, they're kind of showing it. Like they hired that guy for the coin exchange, and then they were hiring. They had an ad for like a few weeks ago. I don't know if you remember that. I was in one of my videos saying that they were hiring like a marketing director or marketing guy, and they were paying like $40 to $60 an hour, depending on experience, depending on what they can do. So they weren't hiring like a minimum wage job. It was like a pretty decent size salary.
Dang.
Yeah. So figure 10 hours a day, $400 a day. So yeah, 5 days a week. It could be running around yeah, so figure that could be running around $2,000 a week, which is not bad.
Not bad. Jeez, that's an insane. But you know what? The fact that what you mentioned, they're not sort of giving out this minimum wage situation. They're definitely wanting somebody with experience, and somebody who is able to be, what's the word? I don't know, like. Entitled to that amount of money, like that's the level of this project, like so yeah, that's good to see that they're going for a bit more of a upper echelon, I guess.
You pay what you get for, and that will definitely incentivize people to, and I'm not gonna say that they're necessarily sniping people from other projects, but if other smaller projects that don't have the backing of like Disney and the United States Postal Service or whatever, and let's say they're at somewhere small and maybe they enjoy it, but they're not getting paid what they're worth. And it was, here's a chance for them to do that and step up. And I think they have a lot of incentives to give for people with talent. Like, I don't think anyone's really pumped to, go work at maybe like Quid to just be like, to make these, JPEGs. I think they'd be pumped to work at Akomi, to work with Disney and all that.
Definitely, they definitely have a certain appeal that other companies lack to a certain degree. I think they have all of these layers that we're kind of, people who have been in the ecosystem know about all of the depth to this company, and like how forward looking they are, and how much work they have done in the background when nobody was like really in on it. I think if like somebody coming in, as a new team member would see all of that. Yeah, and growth as well that they've managed as such a small team over the past year has just been mind blowing. Like how have they been doing what they've been doing on their team, on the capacity that they've had? so far. It's mental. It's
Yeah, I
crazy.
think last I heard they had like 100 people working for them. So they have onboarded a lot, and they I don't know if Trevor got a chance to like pick his replacement because he got a chance to go work at NFT Wonderland, I think it was,
Hmm.
which a lot of people were saying that, like, oh man, does this mean like the quality in the 3D collectibles will go down? And no, no, not at all. I'm pretty sure Akomi. Well, first off, they both parted ways, in my understanding, very amicably. But
Absolutely.
there's no way that Akomi would not have a backup or not have like a someone to substitute in just in case that were to happen, which is one of the questions that I'd asked recently, or was asked recently, I think in like an AMA or something. So I know pretty much everyone they said that they have that's on their payroll. They said including David and Dan. I don't know how they could justify that. It says like no, everyone we have a plan for, like we have a contingency for. It's like, oh, okay, good. But the NFT Wonderland that Trevor went to work for has 2.3 million followers on Twitter. And if you have some people that maybe aren't necessarily just investors, but you have some people in that project that just like it for the game, they like it for whatever, for the music, they're going to see, oh, hey, they just onboarded this new person. Let's go to his LinkedIn. Let's check him out. Oh, Veve Collectibles. What are they about? And they're like, what? So I
Right?
think that's the, yeah,
Right.
I think it's
Like
very,
it's insane, and a huge thank you as well to Trevor, and shout out to everything that he's done this past year. It has just been he's done such an incredible job with the team, and helped them grow to where they are today. And I think as companies expand, as the people in those companies change and develop, um, like his skills are going to be sought after, like in this company, to a super high degree. And like you say, with him having experience from Veve now as well, um, yeah, that's got a boost, give him like a huge boost. But I was actually thinking that obviously we've talked about down the line, we can get into the Vivaverse and the metaverse and all that. I'd love to get into that with you. Um, but yeah, can you imagine, like they've talked about festivals and club concerty situations? Can you imagine down the line if we get like a full circle situation happening, and like uh, the Trevor's company and Veve end up having some sort of you know
yeah.
some sort of collaboration or something? I don't know. Never know. Never say never.
Yeah, I think at some point, when you have interoperability of a bunch of things, and other companies might even want to pay Veve, like, hey, you have such because they have so many monthly active users, and that's only going to keep growing. So if other companies that maybe only have 500,000 users or 1 million users or even a couple million users when Akomi and Veve have like tens of millions, like, hey, they could be almost like an exchange. Like an exchange, they charge, I don't know, hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to be able to put your coin on their exchange. Maybe
Mm,
Veve can do the same thing. Like, you want your NFTs on Veve, we can absolutely do that, but give us a couple $100,000, and out of that, maybe 10% of it could just they buy from the circulating spot, just burn Omi, and that'd be a good.
mm,
I think that'd be really fun. Or that could go into the contract too. Be like, yeah, you have to not only give us this, but you have to buy this much Omi from the circulating supply, then you have to stake it. That would be awesome.
mm. That would be insane. There's so
Yeah.
many options. There's so many avenues that we are yet to even like float that are even to
Those,
enter our minds of what could possibly be coming down the line
that's
for
a great idea. I'm writing that
Omi
one down.
specifically. Do
Veve charges other
it.
NFT projects. I have to put that in my daily video tomorrow.
Heck
But
yes, heck yes. But the I'd love to get into we're kind of going. And I've had a brain fart thought that I'd like to share with you. So remember when, and I don't know if I got this completely right, but MTL wasn't a thing. It was going to be uh what was it, NFT to Omi?
mhm.
Like that was the initial plan. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So my brain was thinking, right? So obviously Vivi and its connection to Ecomi has become ever more prevalent because of how well Veve has like, I feel like it's taken off right this year, which
Yeah.
was unexpected. Prices have taken off. The retention has done really well. Everything. So in my mind, I was thinking if I was Veve and the team, and my plan was to have Omi and Omi to NFT, and that utility would have come down the line when things like the metaverse or the Veveverse were implemented. Because I don't know if they thought that they were going to have so many people wanting to get involved like to the financial level that they are with fiat. And I think Veve maybe thought it was going to take much longer for people to to get on this train.
Yeah.
So they had time to build every layer of this, and then waiting until the Veveverse was about and everything, and then that's when people could really get utility out of their OMI tokens, and that's when it would sort of come into its own. But then obviously because it did so well, they brought MTL in sooner because that hasn't sort of caught up yet. We haven't kind of got up to that point where the metaverse is a place where OMI tokens can be used as like a commercial, like a commercial coin. But yeah, what's your thoughts? Do you think that they had intended for the OMI token to be like fully integrated and immersed and like spread across much more people's wallets by the time the Veveverse was about? Or what's your thoughts?
Originally, I'm sure because, like I said, originally it was just supposed to be, hey, cash out in OMI, and that's why there was no need to originally to have the MTL because you just cash out in OMI to give OMI a lot of utility, which they'll give OMI again anyway. The ability to cash out, and I think the MTL part of the reason why I think it's 10% to cash out is maybe because the gas fees or the fee for NFT to OMI and cashing out OMI won't be as high, and it'll incentivize people to do that for OMI. Again, that is kind of just speculation, but it does kind
Oh
of make
yes,
sense
of
as well.
course. This is all speculation and all our imagination. Yes, everybody who's watching this is what we do here.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's so, I don't know, it like really gets your brain twisted up to try and think about where this is going, right? Like we've been given all these little breadcrumbs, and we're all trying to like fit them into this
Yeah.
future thought that we all have.
And
Go ahead.
when Reese was saying yesterday, he was talking about full OMI utility rolled out within a year. And to me, full OMI utility, because they've talked about it before, means OMI to land, being able to buy land with OMI. And that should mean that we have the Veveverse within a year. Like I said, I fully expect that to roll out this year. Also, when he was talking about paying people, or when he's talking about what he does with the money, like expansion, paying the people a Comey, paying the people the licensors, paying the 30% fee, and then he said paying for the Veveverse as well. So I think if he was just going to say, hey, we're paying the people that work for Comey and pay the people that work for Veve, that should imply that those are the people that are building the Veveverse. But they were separate things, paying for Comey and Veve people, and then paying for the Veveverse. So I think that suggests or confirms that a third-party entity is building the Veveverse for us.
Oh my God. Okay. Speculation,
Yeah.
based on what we have, the breadcrumbs that we have picked up.
Yeah. Now it's possible he could have just misspoke, but I feel like Reese is very, very particular with his words, and I don't think he would make that mistake. So I think we have to read in between the lines there. It's like, okay, well, that was separate things, paying for Veveverse. Yeah.
Okay, so let's run with that a little bit, not to get anybody's undies in a twist, but to me, obviously not a huge tech person or gaming know-how or anything, but to me that would be like, okay, I feel like Veve does that very well. They delegate where to where people's strengths are. They're not going to get a company that doesn't know what they're doing to take on such a task, like building something like that. And if
Yeah.
it's going to have these like gaming elements, it's going to have these, um, and when I say gaming, I mean like The Sims, where you can be, a digital entity in a world where you can walk around and you can interact. That's kind of what I
Yeah.
mean by gaming. Um, so yeah, can you imagine if they had like gone to a really big gaming house somewhere? Like I don't I can you I don't know, like I don't want to
So
say EA Games or something crazy,
challenge
you know?
everything.
Challenge everything.
Do you
Can you
remember like 2 or 4 years ago, maybe there was a Star Wars game that came out,
imagine?
and you had to get a certain amount of points, like a whole lot of points, in order to get in order so you could just play as either Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker. And the amount of time you would have to go to get those points to unlock that character was like ridiculous. So
Mm.
they have the most downvoted comment on Reddit when their
Oh God.
response was, "We want to have people, I forget what it was, but like we want to have make sure people feel pride and satisfaction that they're able to do it." And like their like stock, I think, took a hit. Like people were boycotting. It was ridiculous.
Oh God. Oh
Um,
Jesus. Really?
yeah, dude, it was nuts. Yeah, just Google Star Wars EA games like controversy. It was
I'm
like
gonna
the
do it right now.
craziest thing in like 2017, 2018. Uh, yeah, bring that up.
I'm gonna
Uh,
check it out. I'm gonna check it out. What year was
and
it? Couple of
it
years,
was
like
like it was like 4 years ago, maybe. Um,
um
but it was like the most downvoted comment ever on Reddit. Was EA Games Reddit comment. Oh yeah, so then not only that, but I think you had to pay like it was November 2017. And then you had to, if you wanted to do it, you had to pay like another $80 to unlock like the person that you couldn't unlock.
okay, okay. Let
Yeah,
Okay,
it
so
was,
but let's apply that like that logic and that thinking. Just
mhm.
the gameplay, the character, the leveling up, the acquiring of, said
So
NFT or asset. Go for it, go for it.
okay, so I say leveling up. Here's what I think, similar to Axie Infinity, where I don't know if you're familiar with that
Yes,
game.
yes, yes, for
Yeah, the
sure.
play to earn game
Mm-hmm.
where my friend Raythax, who's on my fridge there, Raythax, .eth,
Hey, right, facts.
domain, he bought a ton of these Axies, and there's this thing called scholarships, those that don't know. And the
Mm-hmm.
scholarships were that you can give your Axies to other people for them to play. And because it's a play to earn game, they have the time, they play it, and then you kind of split the spoils, as it were. And there's so much money that went to the Philippines where they're getting like typically like a couple dollars a day, for their job minimum wage over there. And these people are making like tens or hundreds of dollars a day.
Mm.
Um, I think the same thing will happen here if you can level up your characters. I have 300 collectibles. I cannot, even if I did one collectible played for an hour or 16 hours a day, that would take me 10 days to do 1 hour for each of them. So I would have to rent them out or do whatever, and then have people earn that way. So I think that also makes sense for renting out. Hey, yeah, it might cost you $5 or $10 a day, or however much it is to rent it out. But if you could make that much money on being able to do something like that, or play to earn game, or if you're just someone that says, "Hey, I want to have the highest leveled Superman ever," and how do you do that? Well, you have to play 24/7. You could play yourself for 4 hours a day if that's your thing, and then you could rent it out the other 20 hours a day, and yeah, that
That would
create
be
jobs.
nuts. That
Yeah.
would be insane. Like there's so like the fact that that's even, you know, possible. Obviously it's possible, but what we can imagine could be possible if someone in the dev, sphere and land was able to come up with that sort of concept. That would be freaking insane. And you would have like different levels of, say, Superman. Um, you can walk around as your Superman in said Viviverse and then spot somebody who has leveled up their Superman to level 14 because it's a certain color or it's got a certain accessory or it has like, something that you can identify it
Yeah.
as being leveled up by.
Like putting badges on your Superman or changing the cape or
Mm.
doing whatever. Yeah.
Oh my God, be crazy. Okay, who are you gonna walk around as? Okay, say this is a thing. Say
Mhm.
our what's the word? What's the word for like a story? Can't even
Or
think.
origin story or
Uh, it's not a
adventure,
metaphor. It's not a metaphor. It's a something else.
journey, or path,
I can't, no, I
or trying
can't
to
even
think of
think.
city.
I can't even think. My brain. Okay, but say when we say about yeah, the Sims, and we
Mhm.
we we walk around as that Sim, um, and you interact with your world, your showroom, your house, or whatever. Which avatar out of the VV collection that we have, which one are you going to be walking around as? If we can one day use them as like, our own personal avatar, which one are you going
Um,
for?
I think it depends what we could do with it because I had this thought the other day that they will probably they will have other high mint items that you can only buy that they'll put like 100,000 like chairs or couches or whatever for houses in our VVverse. Um, what if they put in something, and this might get a little PG-13 R-rated, but but what if they have like a tavern, like Thor in the comics really loves beer. We don't have a Thor NFT yet, but we have a Throg. So let's say we can go to that'd be great to have Throg at the bar, get crazy drunk, and then
Yes.
let's say if that happens, you can't walk in a straight line anymore because you're inebriated and you're flopping around everywhere. So what happens if you drive your DeLorean? Do you also like drive around everywhere?
Oh, that would be so
You
good.
crash
You
into
can't
stuff,
get in. It just doesn't let you in because you were in the tavern, and they can your DeLorean will just be locked. You'll be trying to get
or
in to
or it
drive it because
does, but then you're driving the way that you would walk and you're stumbling everywhere. And I think it'd be great if you had, like in Harry Potter, you have the chess sets that after they smash each other, you say reparo, and then they're done, they're repaired, they can play again. What
Oh
if
my
you could
God.
like drive through people's lawns and drive through like their decorations and they get destroyed, but then they come back 30 seconds later?
That would
Um,
be hilarious.
and there'd be
That
so
would be
many mini
hilarious.
games of people like you and me, like, let's see how much damage we can cause. Like we somehow get the car, like get the DeLorean up on the roof, whether we spawn it or whatever, and we stack up the Matt Condex weapons racks and make like a half pipe, make a
Oh,
ramp, and
yes,
we just do that.
yes.
That would be awesome. I would do that all day and just crash into people's houses or we crash in midair. That sounds so great. Um,
Here, on the flip side of that, can you imagine? I think, and we've talked about this. If you were to crash, or you were to drive into someone's lawn, they
yeah.
would be able to tell who did it, and you would have to like, I don't know, give them some gems because you've messed up their freaking lawn or something. Like you caused damage,
Or you
or
like
if you
drop
like,
loot.
or if you drop the, or if you like, you drive if you're steaming in your DeLorean and you bang it into a traffic light, you get a dent that stays there, and then you have to go to like the mechanic in the Viviverse to get it fixed.
That would be
You
awesome.
gotta, you gotta pay up an OMI to get your dent fixed or something.
I would totally do that. Just to piss people off, I would get an Aston Martin and just wreck it, and then I wouldn't fix
Oh
it.
no! Oh my God, no! I'd be driving around with it hanging off like the number plate, dragging across the front.
Uh,
Oh God,
that'd be
that
awesome
would
if
be
you like had
hilarious.
to take care, like if they had like pollen there, and you had like you have to wash your car, and if you don't wash your car, it just gets all dusty.
Yeah, yeah, that would be crazy. Like it is. It's like it's these things. Have you played Animal Crossing before? You ever played it?
I've watched friends and former lovers play Animal Crossing, and people get really serious about it. They're like, oh, there's like things like
People
I
get
don't know, like a
serious.
hurricane comes, and yeah, things get on
Yeah,
the island.
and if you don't like maintain your land, you get all the weeds and everything, and you have to like, if you don't go in for a couple of weeks, you'd have to spend time to then weed your garden and brush up the leaves and stuff. If they could bring in, because that's like a something that you have to always be maintaining, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of like you remember Tamagotchis and
Yeah,
that
you
sort
have
of
to
thing.
feed them, and yeah,
Yeah, you gotta feed them, and so it keeps that like retention there almost, that gaming retention.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I think that would maybe be a type of gamification that people maybe haven't considered yet,
I mean,
you
that
know?
would cause people to. I mean, even they have that in like even the early stages of Pokemon. Like, if you
Hmm.
give your Pokemon like
Heck yes.
potions, then their happiness meter grows. The higher their happiness meter, the stronger their return attack is. And on the opposite way, if you give them like bitter berries and you don't take them to Pokemon centers, they get like frustrated and their move frustration is
Exactly.
worth a lot. That'd be really cool
Exactly.
if
I
you.
I I,
Yeah.
I think that is, well, I don't know, I hope. And again, back to the Sims, if you don't look after your Sims, they get all grumpy and they start crying and they don't eat and they pee themselves and they don't, you know, they do all sorts of crazy things. But the idea is to, keep you involved, keep you like coming back to
Yeah.
that game in order to look after, what
And
you've
I think
created.
events too. Like if so, Vivi could put on events like let's say they have an AMA in the Viviverse, or they just have like whatever. Like I told people, especially when Omi moons, I'll have talent shows. I'll do like give like, and it'll have like cash prizes or Omi prizes or give away NFTs, and people want to come in just because they don't want to miss that. One, like for the money, and two, for like what there's going to be some crazy talented people. Oh, they're really good at karaoke, or oh, they have some really good art, or it's like destroy this car in 30 seconds, something like that. I think people would have a lot of fun. And the
That's
other
gonna
thing
be
that
amazing.
oh, sorry, what you said?
No, I was gonna say that will be incredible, but if I can get your ass into VR chat, you can start doing that right now, dude.
I
Right
have my
now.
Quest over there. I haven't charged it in a while.
You've got one?
Yeah, hang on one sec. Ugh, it's
Oh
underneath
my
Laura
God. Are
and
you
Lysol.
joking me?
Probably put those two things together.
I just saw Tash as well in the comments. Oh my God.
Yeah, I've used it like 3 times, so it's like brand new. Um,
Randy.
yes.
Okay, well that's it. This weekend then, dude. This
Oh, yes.
weekend,
Ugh.
you're coming in. Tash, I see her in the chat. We'll get like a meetup going at the weekend or something.
We could
But
totally do that. Mhm.
listen, Randy. Oh my God. So we haven't talked about VR chat much, and I don't know. Have you ever heard of it? I'm sure you've seen.
Um, I'm sure I've heard of it. Like I've explored everything. But refresh me.
Okay, so we're talking about the VV verse. We're talking about walking around a digital space as said avatar. You can be a cat. You can be. I have a
Khajiit.
beautiful. I have a parrot that I love. I have an alligator. I have an alligator that
Oh,
you can
nice,
have.
Loki.
Yes, yes, you can have that one. Who have I got? I have like an avatar of myself. I have Batgirl. I have one of the remember the Avatar movie? What's the lady, the main character lady in
Gamora.
Avatar?
Well,
Is
she's
it Go?
she's the same lady that plays Gamora
Oh, is
um
it
yeah. She's
Nari
Ahsoka
or Nari?
Tano. What Rosario Dawson. I don't know the
Okay,
name of the
okay.
avid. Yeah, but
It's the character, the female lead. I have her, and I can walk around as her, and you're freaking huge, and
oh,
it's
nice.
amazing. Yeah, so you go in, you can pick to an avatar to walk around as, and you can interact. You and me can meet up. You, me, and Tash can meet up and like go to a karaoke bar, and they have like a system built in that you can pick all the songs and they play on a big screen and you can all sing together.
Oh, I totally do that.
Yeah, there's pubs. There like people have made pub worlds. People have made um like worlds where you're in the universe, like up in the space and you're walking around. And
That would
listen,
be
any
great on some.
any any type of world you can imagine, dude, people have made. They have like
Um,
dude, they have strip clubs, stripping poles
really,
and everything. Yeah, dude.
I could show off
Yes,
my moves.
you could show off your mood, dude. I swear, it's brilliant, and that's like when you said about the tavern part there for like the Viviverse, for like a, like an over 18 situation where people can go.
Hmm.
VR chat very much has that like adult side of it, which
So
which needs
when
to listen. It needs to be sorted out. Kids can get in. It's a nightmare. But yeah, they need to
oh,
fix
really?
some of that. Dude, kids, dude, it's terrible. We've like the past couple of weeks, I've seen so many articles about people going into VR and like VR chat specifically and seeing these kids. Yeah, dude, there's no locks, there's no
Oh my
verification, there's no
god.
nothing, dude. So it can't like, yeah,
Oh
you
my
need to
god.
be careful.
Oh my.
Anybody out there who has a headset, watch your children when you use the
Yeah.
headset, please.
So
Please, yes.
me and when I first got that, I was at my friend Nick and Megan's place, and they had found out, like, we were just searching things, and there was like Pornhub has like a VR Pornhub thing, and like what is that like? So like we looked at it, and I looked at it, and the I don't know if you can change it, but it looks real. It looks like, well, this is like really cool. Like, but the avatar that it shows that you're at was white, and I was like, oh, this kind of take me out of it, guys. I'm not, I'm not gonna
It just breaks the immersiveness.
yeah.
It's not truly me. But yeah, listen, that side of VR is very much prevalent. It is a thing. It has been for years. Um,
I know it.
and yeah, man, it's a huge thing, and each to their own. It's an adult world as well. So um I think the fact that they're, tailoring to everybody's tastes is it's gonna happen. Do you know what I mean? The internet was invented for porn, flip's sake. So it's only natural that it's gonna, VR is gonna have its own adult section as well. Um, but the VR industry really need to crack down on folks' ability to access, like you said, the Pornhub on the Oculus. You can just download it. You can
Yeah.
just get it. There's no barrier to entry. Same for VR chat. You can be in an environment with a bunch of kids, as an adult, and it's just not. Do you know what I mean? It's not
So
conducive. It's not
weird.
safe. It's not. It is. It's weird. It's not safe for the kids. At times, bad actors are everywhere. So,
I could imagine. That's
yeah, yeah, exactly. So they really need to be looking into, I don't know, like KYC or some sort of way to identify that you're over 18 in some sort of way.
yeah.
But
I wonder
yeah,
how many kids
it's
like
amazing.
that are like, especially like young men that are like 14, like 15. I wonder if I'll see boobies, and then like every now and then they get to see you, and they're like, it was worth it. I wonder how.
Dude, but you know what? Like on that vein, it's gonna change, so many kids' upbringing and perspective in like that being their technology as they grow up. Remember, ours was like
Chat
PS1,
room.
yeah, like freaking Nintendo 64, like that sort of stuff was what we um sort of dipped our toe, I guess, in the technological world. That was some of the first stuff that we would have um
Yeah, I mean, when we were like
used.
kids, yeah. But then like in like, I guess, early teenage, there was AOL chat rooms, and there was like stuff like that, and
That's
that
what
was,
this is. That's
yeah, this
exactly
is
what
there.
this is.
Yeah. But I mean, as long as the kids are like small still and they don't understand, they're probably not even going to look. I don't know. Would they even look? Ah, maybe. I don't know. Depends.
Yeah, it's a tough one. You know what kids are like. Kids are inquisitive. They maybe would get themselves into a situation and they just don't recognize what's going on around them.
Yeah.
But like you said, the AOL chat rooms, like I remember, like going in. It's just VR chat is an AOL chat room, but with a physical body, and you instead of seeing the text on the screen, you're seeing the avatar of the person. So it's a much more immersive experience, obviously, like being able to physically see and speak to these people completely changes the experience. Um, so yeah, it's very intense. It's very intense. So I would even say that kids I feel that kids shouldn't be using VR up until they're like of a developmental stage or age, like, going into puberty or whatever. Um,
Or
because
at least definitely not without an adult or
yeah,
supervision type.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely,
But
definitely. But I'm so excited to get you into VR. You are going to absolutely love this. I can tell.
yeah, I
I
can't
can
wait
tell
either.
already.
Yeah, I got to charge it. But yeah, everything's there and it's been used like 3 times. So that was it.
You're gonna
Um,
love it. You're gonna
yeah, played
love
a couple
it.
games. It was so much fun.
Oh, it's gonna be excellent. Yeah, heck yes. But okay, so back to Vivi, but staying in the VR vein, right?
Mhm.
So let's say we're talking 4 years down the line, 5 years down the line. Um, VR technology has become a bit cheaper. Gaming in general, right? Like you and I have seen gaming go from uh freaking, Space Invaders. Do you remember
Yeah,
Space Invaders?
yeah, of course,
To
of course.
okay, to God of War type graphics and
Yeah, beautiful.
interaction and everything, right? Where do you see gaming going in the next,
Um,
5 years? Like, what do you think the next iteration of gaming would be?
So I think Nintendo's kind of done this already, where they take really old school games, like from like Super Nintendo and Nintendo, and they kind of just upgrade the graphics and just remake them. And some of those things are so cool. Like
Mm,
just platform based games, something simple, but in that type of way would be cool. But VR is they've speculated about this for years that virtual reality game it's so new and they're like right on the precipice of it. It just has to become cheaper. But I mean, even for other stuff, like back in the day, PS2, a couple $100, and that's before you buy any games. That's before you buy any remote controllers. That's before you buy the memory card. That's before So this has all happened before. Um, I think play to earn the blockchain gaming. I think those will be very very big because even if I mean also back in the day there was not if you there was no reviews online about these games
mm.
that you were taking a chance when you're at Toys R Us. You're taking a chance when you're at GameStop. Um, but so back in the day, you either had and if you had a crappy game, you had to kind of stick with it because that's all you had. But now, if even if you have a really good game, if you're a kid, if you're 10 years old, and like, hey, this is really fun, but my parents give me $5 allowance per week. That's nothing. I can make $5 in an hour if I play this game. Well, then they might do that. And even if it's just to fund other hobbies, like I'm going to just transfer it to my Steam account and then buy games on Steam.
Mm.
I think that is going to be one of the big things, and that'll lift a lot of people out of poverty. That's going to be such a major transition for people. So even people that wouldn't have played games in the past, you'll get a lot of new gamers that come in. I think you saw a lot of the rise of girl gamers, whether it was on like Candy Crush or Bejeweled Blitz, and now like Animal Crossing. It's like a 50-50 split.
Mm.
So I think you're going to get a lot more girls on board. I see that happening. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, definitely. The gaming sphere is opening up, and like you say, bringing in that extra element of play to earn or
Mhm.
play to, obviously in the games we will run around. Personally, I love the like free roaming games where you can like walk around, you have to explore and you can collect like on your way as you kind of explore around the world or whatever. So imagining like I think back to Spyro and you would collect the wee gems. Can you imagine like the more gems you collect, like that's how you could every 100 gems you get, 100 Omi or something, or you would earn um I don't know, raffle tickets, or you would like, but having that uh rather than it just being like an amount of gems on a screen, you would know that you were getting some sort of like real world utility
Yeah.
out of it, which then kind of incentivizes you to stay on, play a bit more. Yeah, it's gonna
I
be yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
I think marathon gaming will be a thing too. Like saying like, how long can this person play this game for without sleeping, without passing out, without dying? Like I
That's
used to
gotta
do this back
happen
in the day.
already.
Without
Yeah.
what?
Do people not do that? Do people do that now? I would imagine
I'm
people
sure they
do that now.
do, but not in VR. I feel like because like when we had
Oh Jesus, not in VR. No way. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
yeah, it'd be nuts. Like I feel like people even we got a glimpse of it when we had 100-hour chat on Twitter Spaces. Like that was nuts. I don't know if that's ever been
Yes.
done before. And you'll have things like that going on in the Viverse. I'll make it so. I'll
Yeah.
totally do that. Yeah,
That's
it'd be
gonna be
great.
amazing. Heck yes. God.
I wonder what it would be
Oh,
like if you had a inside like VR. Like there's mini games for like slingshotting like explosive, which I guess is like a little PG-13 ish. I would
mm.
wonder if you could have something like slingshotting like toilet paper and you TP people's houses.
Dude, I have a game for you. I have it saved. You get like a big gun. You get a big gun and you're in the middle of a city and you shoot the gun and the toilet paper flings over the houses. It's already
That's
a thing. It's a thing. I will take you there. I will take you there at the weekend. And you can like jump and you can like jump, fly, like almost, and like shoot there's like a helicopter that comes past. You can shoot it with a helicopter and everything. Yeah, it's brilliant.
be my senpai.
It's gonna be insane.
Good.
Um, but yeah, thinking back a little bit about when you were saying about um using the Mac on deck posters to make your half pipe, make your
Yeah.
ramp for your Aston Martin, right? So thinking about that idea, I was watching a little bit of your video with Dan Chavez and Cavell the other day,
Mhm.
and love the bit and Cavell's kind of brought this up before about how Fortnite and the way they've kind of integrated, um, they've kind of split up their gameplay. So you have like an option to play, battle royale style, where you can shoot each other and stuff, or you can like build your own world and universe, I guess. Um, isn't that what he was saying? Isn't that what
Yeah,
he was getting
yeah,
at?
I would love that. Like I've never been good at that. Like I've tried it before on like Advance Wars. There's a old Nintendo Game Boy game called the Game Boy Advance game where you have like tanks and you have other stuff and you can build your own map. And I just never really did that good at it. I've never done it that well. And even on like Mario Maker and like Roblox and stuff, I've never that good at it. So that would be a thing where if I want to build like my castle, I would totally hire someone else to do that, or like a showroom. I'll hire Johnny Dunn. But yeah, like there's going to be people like Cavell or that are very good at building those things that are going to be in such demand because if not everyone would be able to go and buy
Mm-hmm.
50 parcels of land, but I could if Omi goes up and they have Omi the land. And then if I wanted to, let's say, do that as an investment and then create my own mini game on those parcels of land, whether it be like intense manhunt or intense like paintball, whatever, and I would need to hire, a couple of people to try to build that. Yeah, I guess like V versus a game, we're building a game within a game and make things really hard and to give out prizes for completing it, like fastest time, whoever can do it. You know, I think that'd be really good. Very pumped about
That would be crazy. That would be
it.
crazy. And that's like taking the, and I've used Fortnite like a lot when I'm like talking about the VVverse or talking about what I imagine um VV's like model, not model, obviously they're very different. One's based on fiat, one's a closed ecosystem, one has no, Web3 sort of capabilities. Not saying that your man Tim Sweeney, is it Tim Sweeney? Or the owner of Epic Games, not saying that he won't ever take the step um into Web3 with his, with all of the franchises that he's involved in. But I don't know, I can't see Fortnite players being onboarded to crypto and Web3. I think they're quite um
Yeah,
solidified in the way that they interact with the game and everything.
yeah, pretty happy with
Um,
it.
yeah, and I don't know
But
if they could backtrack. What do you think?
um, I think if something better comes along, and I'm not saying that we're automatically going to be better with than Fortnite, but just the NFTs a lot, like they pay for skins and they can't sell those skins back. I mean, but to get something like an avatar, hey, like in CS:GO, like my friend Nick got, you could do these like not blind box, yeah, they're almost blind boxes, these party crates, and you pay like $20 or $100 or whatever for them, and then you can most of the times you get like crap, and it's like there's like a million of these, a million of these, but every now and then you get like a really cool knife or a really cool skin or whatever, and I think you can sell those. I think to other people, or you can sell your accounts or whatever. Uh, but we don't just have random knives. Like we have like really cool like digital ownership of everything. So
Mm,
I think if the game is good, if they and again if taking what Reese says in my context that I read it as that they're paying somebody else to build it, it will most likely be very good. Because I would imagine that they if they're going to use let's say either Marvel Mighties or any of their NFTs in there, Disney would probably have to okay it. Um,
oh
so
yeah,
whether
for sure, for sure.
and Disney's not going to let any just normal Yahoo go go and build their metaverse. Like even like Microsoft that bought Activision Blizzard, like they knew that they were out of their depth, so they spent $69 billion. Everyone comment nice down below for 69 on buying that company just so they could build their metaverse. It's not like Sony that spent $2 billion on Bungie, which is still billions of dollars. It's they're
I know, it. No, it doesn't even seem. I know.
yeah,
It's
but
like it's just too bill.
yeah, it's not like this. Like, yeah, we'll spend $1 million on this, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. No, they are sure that for this to happen. So, um, I mean, well, time will tell. I think we have a little bit of a head start because of all our IP, but um,
I
I think
agree.
competition is good. Up until now, we even currently there is no serious competition for NFT platforms, but that's only going to be one part of our whole portfolio here. Uh, so I think once they do get in and they do have some serious competition, uh, hopefully it'll yield a
Mm,
better player experience.
mm. Definitely. And to your point about the big giants, the big gaming houses taking that step into the metaverse. I know I saw a post from Hello K the other day. I can't remember it specifically, but it was something about Xbox and all of these gaming houses and giants making the conscious decision to get these acquisitions on the go right now so that they can then build for like a couple of years and then release this freaking behemoth of um like a gaming style metaverse on the world. Yeah, it'd be crazy.
Yeah, there's
But
been
go ahead, but
I would say there's been no marketing for this. I think they might want to save that for when the Veveverse does launch, and then they're like,
mm,
okay, we can do that. But who knows what will we have when the Veveverse launches? 6 million, 8 million people,
oh my
and
god,
and
don't
none
say
of
that.
them are
Ah!
not almost none of them are OMI holders. Most of them are just Veve. They might not even understand crypto. So
Mm.
just
And I've always kind of thought about, I don't, this probably isn't correct, but always thought about Omi being integrated into the Viviverse in the same kind of way, like in currency token, like gaming tokens are. So I imagine like being in the Viviverse having like a little bar at the top that says my amount of Omi and like what I can you imagine what yours is gonna look like? It's gonna be like
it's
it's
gonna
gonna be
be a
like a
bar.
frosted
It's
bar.
gonna be thick.
Do you
It's
know what
gonna
I mean?
it's gonna be like a
It's gonna
Snickers
be
bar. It's gonna have a vein.
but yeah, like that's kind of how I imagine like, and then there's maybe things and places and ways that you'd be able to spend and yeah, earn and everything like that. Like that's how I visualize it. It's probably totally wrong, but
I mean, that very well could, because in
you know,
Decentraland you have mana, Sandbox you have sand, and how much
you
you
have
have in there.
sand, yeah,
Tell you when
and
to
how
get in the way.
and how, do you know how the sand is integrated into. Have you seen the alpha? Any of the alpha gameplay
I
from
haven't
the
played it.
sandbox?
What's it like?
It's it looks good. It's smooth. It's a metaverse, definitely. It's like a um they have like certain areas for portals and different places that you can access. I haven't played it personally. I've watched some of the sandbox, and I think they're devs. I've watched some of them do a bit of gameplay, and it looks great. It's very much in that Roblox, Minecraft. It's like a sort of a mix between the two, I'd say.
Mhm.
With that very sort of pixelated, blocky style. You know, you're running around as an avatar. It's third person perspective, so you're like looking down at your avatar rather than looking through the eyes of the avatar like you would be in VR.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you run around. There's these little gems that you can buy, and I don't know if like that you're collecting sand. I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, that would be interesting to dig in and see how that
Yeah.
kind of is integrated.
I wonder what would happen to the bar of Omi as maybe in like the middle of town, middle of Eviverse. There's like a count. Like you know how there's like a web page for the, or I don't know, you might not know, but there is a website. It's a U.S. debt clock. You can Google like what is the U.S. debt, and it shows like the numbers that keep going and going. I think
Oh
that would be
God, right.
great if in the middle of the Vverse we had like an Omi counter and how much Omi is constantly being burned, constantly, constantly. Um, because the more that's burned, the more your Omi is worth, and to
Hmm.
have that fractionalized at some point, I can't wait. But I am kind of concerned because I do have, I don't want to say a spending problem, um, but if I I was relatively poor for so long, and if Omi goes to the moon, and then I have that much money, and then it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna get this collectible and this collectible and this collectible, and um, I don't. I feel like I'd blow through some or half or a lot of it.
We won't
Um,
let you. We won't let you. We will not let you do that. No,
okay,
we're all. But listen, that's a very real. That's a very real thing to consider.
no,
And I'm definitely with you in the boat of being, a budget investor and this being like, you gotta live within your means, and I've very much done so. Um, but yeah, like just imagining where and how this can change, like financially, like if everything that we're speculating and imagining comes to fruition.
very happy that I'm alive at this time. Like in like
It's
the position I am in at this time. Um,
yeah, man.
I feel like we were born at like perfect time. Like we were kids who enjoyed Pokemon, we enjoyed good cartoons. Like this is like I do not envy these kids. I mean, I envy their youth, but we
Mm,
you know we were like kind of that last generation to like play outside, and parents didn't know where we were 24/7, and they didn't get mad at us for not answering our phones. Like, wow, I'm playing kickball, um,
exactly.
and we got to see what the world was kind of like still without internet, and then the birth of it. And I do feel bad for some of these kids that are not going to be able to experience that, and
Agreed.
especially for driving. I think in the next 10 years, full self-driving will be such a game changer. And I can see it now. I can see a lot of people saying like, oh, you want to drive your car? Well, because full self-driving is better than humans, that must mean you don't care about human life. And it's like, I think driving
Oh,
is a thing of the past too.
flip. Yeah. That's a very good point. Like there's so many things that are gonna be altered. And thinking about us and our generation, um, I'd say, I don't know, like 20 years either side of us. I don't know. What is it 15 years is considered a generation?
I
Or
don't know.
I'm not sure what the gapage is.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, like you say, um we were definitely on the cusp, like having computers in schools and like trying to like it we were definitely of that generation where computing was going from just being having a computer at work and it being just for working, in the office and all that sort of thing. to having computers in your home, and then it being, used for more than just emailing or something like that. You bring in the gaming side, and then you bring in the entertainment side. Like, yeah, it's so incredibly freaking different now, dude. And it does worry me a wee bit, like, as to where it's gonna go in the next 10 years. Like, what would this conversation look like in 10 years time? It's gonna be totally different.
Yeah, I mean, probably be inside. It'll definitely be inside a metaverse. Like the internet will probably change a lot. I don't know what the greatest invention would be of this century. Maybe blockchain. I mean, it might not have even been invented yet. There's still like 78 years. But like when I was younger, I there was a class that I took in high school. Easy A is called keyboarding, where they just taught you how to type because the administration felt like, oh, kids are going to need to learn how to use computers. It was the easiest thing in the world because we all grew up with them and we were like this. Um, I now hear that people are learning coding like the same way we used to learn how to type and how to learn computers. A lot of young kids in like elementary, middle school are learning how to code, and that's so beautiful. That's
What
such
does
a
that even mean? What does that mean, Randy? What does coding mean? Like, I know it's letters and numbers, but what? Co Kids are learning to
oh,
code. Can you, like, tell me what it is in a nutshell? Like you're talking to a 3-year-old,
I have a,
what
yeah,
it
sure. I
is.
have a pretty basic, very basic, rudimentary
That's what I
understanding of it,
need.
but
That's what I need.
it's a language where you say like, oh, okay, I want this, red block to develop. So you type in a line that has like you know, a red block to appear, and then you type in another line that would let's say like it's an if statement. So it's like, or there's in one statement there'll be an if and a let statement. So if red gets touched with blue, let that make like magenta or whatever. So
Mm,
you create. So imagine what that has to do to create like a metaverse or thing. Like, okay, well, let's try to roll a die. Okay, so it type into code to have a die appear. If this code or if this die were to be tossed, then let it roll, and you have to figure out the gravity. It would continue to roll, and you have to do a separate line of coding for the sound. You have to do a separate line of coding for the sound to eventually
jeez.
stop. Like, okay, after the die stops
What?
rolling, you have to make sure that the sound stops as well. Yeah, it's nuts.
Wow. So it's like
It's
instructions. It's like
of how to do things, on how to build.
of how they, like, you're telling the computer what you want it to, like, produce almost, but you
Yeah,
have to manually tell it through code what you want it to,
yeah, what
I
you
don't
want
know,
it to
make
do,
appear. Yeah.
and then if there's like a bug in it, like say, oh, hey, I didn't know that this if and let statement leads to an array where it does something that I didn't want it to do. So let me put in another line of code to stop that.
Mm.
It's bananas. So imagine working on like we're being like Elon Musk working on like a spaceship, like, and the first time all the code has to be written, like the first time, like you can't test it out because if you test it out, like it
That's
has to
it.
be with the
It's your one
rocket.
go.
So it has to run perfectly with no bugs. And so I'm going to blow your mind here. In what I forget which physicist it was, Neil deGrasse Tyson had a panel, and this one physicist, he looked like an older version of Cat Williams, same hair but it was gray, and he said that in his quest to find out, like the fabric of the universe and how to explain it, there is a set of codes that the mathematical equations that he wants to use to explain the universe is no different than computer code, like a specific code, like
What?
stuff that you would find in a Google search engine code. Yeah. So Neil deGrasse Tyson had to like, he's like, so you're telling me that the type of equations that you want to use to explain the fabric of the universe are the same equations that are used in a Google search engine, and that we're in the matrix. And he says yes.
Oh God.
And
Oh no.
and he just had to like, okay,
Simulation
I'm done.
theory.
Yeah, I have to send that video to you later. It's nuts.
Yes, dude, please. Like that's, dude. We had a wee talk about like simulation theory and uh, what this could all be. But the fact that, and taking it back to you explaining that, like that was just so intricate and detailed. And when you say bug, to me, that's like somebody typing just one letter or I don't know, one punctuation-y type situation, doing one thing wrong and it upsetting the entire rest of the code because it doesn't then
Yeah, it could
like
just be an extra
link in
space after a colon. Like it could just, and it just won't work.
and it just won't work. What? Whoa. Okay.
So
Okay.
I messaged you that thing with Neil
Oh,
deGrasse
thank you.
freaks out when physicist James Gates is his name.
Thank you.
Tells it's so, like it's like one of the most underrated videos. Like I don't know how like people don't talk about that more. Like that to me that confirmed that like okay, we are in a
Oh,
simulation.
we are in it already. And
Yeah.
what we're wanting to do is to create another simulation within a simulation within a simulation. This is
Yeah.
Inception theory. I don't know what you would freaking call it.
Yeah. So if I do believe we are in a simulation, and if we are the people that have coded this, are they in a simulation too? And they,
I know.
like
It's so,
how deep does this go?
how deep does it go? It's so deep.
And do they even know that we exist? Because it's a
They
huge
have to.
universe.
They got to. If they were the ones that made, or maybe not. Maybe they just made it and this was all an accident
Because
within
like
that.
when we have even like the Sims or the Vverse, whatever you want to call it, have like almost half the world doesn't have internet, so they don't know that those things like exist in that.
Mm,
Yeah,
that's
there's
true too.
yeah,
Like
crazy.
people who like that tribe in the Amazon. I think they're like one of the, is it the Amazons? One of
There's
the
a bunch
last
that are
tribes that
uncontacted.
untouched,
Yeah,
no electricity, don't know what other outsiders look like. They don't have any clue about other, humans existing.
yeah,
So they just live within this, this tiny sphere of their lives and their environment, their ecosystem.
it's bubble.
Yeah,
Um,
this little tiny bubble.
there's a Stephen King movie. Are you into horror?
Yeah, we bet. Can we bet? Go for it, go.
So there's
Hit
a
me.
Stephen King movie where it's takes place in maybe like the 1600s or whatever. They look like pilgrims or whatever. There's like no technology, and they, they work the land. They have like a farm. They have like whatever. They have like a well for water, but they're not allowed in the forest, especially at night, because there's like these monsters in it.
Oh, is this the village?
Yes. Oh,
Have
you
you
know what
seen?
it is. I forgot what the name of
Oh,
it was.
yes. So good. My
And
mom terrified me with that movie. She was like, this is the scariest thing you've ever seen. And then the twist at the end, just oh, it's
I,
just like the plane.
yeah, they're there. It's like they're like oh, that was like a heart. There's so many. I don't know if it was the mist or the fog. I don't know if you ever seen them,
Mm,
but
I
one
think
of
that rings
them,
a bell.
they were trying to every time like the fog rolls in, or they're trying to escape the fog, and when the fog rolls in, like crazy horrible things happen, and they die like really crazy deaths. So the fog had rolled in, and this guy has. Do you want me to spoil it? I don't want to if you don't want it. I
Go
could.
for it. Spoilers. Also,
Okay, so
it's really old. Spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen the fog.
so this guy he's got like a magnet. He's got like a weapon like 6 shots in it. But he used one shot already for for to try to like shoot outside because somebody was trying to they had like a rope and he's like okay if I scream like pull me back and he screams and he tries to shoot but he pulls back and there's nothing on the rope so he's in the car and the fog's coming in and he's like do I want my family to die this like horrible death I only have like X amount of shots so
Mm.
he to spare his family from like the horrible death he shoots him, and
Oh
then
my God, yes.
he tries to
Oh
shoot
my
himself, and he's
God.
just like, "Ah!" and then
Ah!
it's the army that rolls in, and he didn't have to do that, and it's like that
I've seen that.
that
God.
messed me up so bad. Like,
Oh my
oh my
God.
god, how that dude had to feel. How like oh like we barely
Oh, it
had
was a
enough
good
time to
one.
process like what he
Yeah.
had to do and the sacrifice that he had to make. And then it's like, well, he's gonna die. All right, it'll be over in a sec. And then it's not over. It's like, oh,
And then he's saved, and then you're like, if only you had a chilled out for an extra 5 minutes,
yeah.
y'all would have been, everyone would have been grand.
Oh my god.
A great movie. That reminded me. Yeah, excellent.
There's another
God.
one. I don't know if it was the Fog and the Mist, but it's something similar. But they're in like a 7-Eleven. They're in like this like grocery store, and the mist has rolled in, but they can't step outside because they go outside. So it's like the same movie, but it's a different title. I don't know how that one
Oh,
ends though, and I haven't seen it.
God.
So like the other one scarred me too bad.
Oh, God. It's, listen, I think if we're gonna go down hard, I was scarred for life by The Ring, and
Oh
like
yeah.
it when I watched that when I was like really young. Shouldn't have watched
Oh
it so young,
same. I was like
but it
7.
was, yeah. Oh, you were 7?
Yeah,
Almost. I don't think I was that young, but I was young. But you know, when you're lying in bed and you have the curtain and it's dark and you're like lying there and you're just looking at I'm like, that is her. She is in the corner of my room right now, and I'm going to die because she's gonna, as soon as I close my eyes, she's gonna come. Yeah, traumatized.
and I remember this, like I was at a Blockbuster and I thought I was being really like cute. I thought I was being really like facetious where I was like, "Hey mom, can I get this?" And I put my finger over the R so that I could like,
Ooh, that was fun.
and she's like, "Oh, like what is it?" And I was like, "Oh, it's like about a clown, like, John Ritter's in it." Because like she knew John Ritter from whatever, like either like Ace of Rules, Dating a Teenage Daughter, or like whatever it was. I don't even know if that was a show on at the time. But I knew she knew who he was, and he was funny. And I was like, yeah, like it's just supposed to be really funny. And she's like, okay. Now, growing up later, she had to have known what it was, and she probably just thought, I'll teach you to try to, swing one past me, and not knowing
Mm,
that, yeah. So I still don't like clowns. I like I get pretty uneasy around. Um,
nope. Hell,
so
hard nope. Hard nope on it as well. It's terrifying.
yeah,
Terrifying. But the old one takes the cake, I think. Did you see the new one?
yeah, new one's great. I love the new one.
Oh, is
Um,
it good as well?
Oh, it's like, so 2017 was like a perfect year for horror. They had like the Annabelle, I think, creation, and then
Mm-hmm.
they had It Part One, and it was really good. And then it Part Two is really like they're both really really good. I definitely like 9 out of 10 recommend them.
Heck yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna spin it. Keep them with the horror. Keep them with the theme of the scary IP. I guess you could call them IPs. Would you call
Hmm.
them IPs? Can you imagine in the Viviverse? Say there's like a space, right, where the mist is in the Viviverse, and you have to like, or there's a certain time that
Hmm.
the mist is going to descend on the Viviverse, and everybody who's in there has to like, I don't know, run and hide or something. I don't know what it like, or you could, or like, it was going to be released onto the Viviverse at at 10 o'clock, and you gotta walk around, and people are, you got can either look for him, or you gotta like, do you know what I mean, like trying to bring these IPs and different movie ideas into the VVverse as an experience in some kind of way.
So
What
I
do you
have
think?
this idea. It came from a dream in like 2014. I was stationed at McGuire Air Force Base in New Jersey, and I had this crazy nightmare that giant breakfast cereal mascots were attacking the base, and I
Mm,
didn't have a weapon. I was just like, I'm in the dining facility. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't have any weapon. Like, I go to that like chocolate milk or whatever, and and like they're out of chocolate
I'm
milk.
so sorry. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing. Sorry.
No, it's fine. But I think that they could have something like that in the Viviverse. Like we have the serial killers. Later, what if giant serial killers appeared in the Viviverse, and you had to take like your Marvel Mighties or your Todds or whatever to fight them, and
Oh
every
my
person that
God.
got at least one hit on them or do 1% damage gets 1% of the loot. The more damage you do, and you have to save the Viviverse. And if you don't defeat them in a certain amount of time, nobody gets anything. So yeah, I think that'd
Mm,
be really fun.
that would be insane. I don't know how I feel about bringing one of your deepest nightmares into reality and
I gotta
making you
conquer my
relive
fears.
that, making you relive that over and over again as a game. But yeah, like something like that. Um, bringing in like like a haunted house, like an Annabelle area where you walk into the house, like the showroom, and it's all, kitted out in the theme. Um, and I can't remember the story about it. She's the doll, isn't she?
Yeah, yeah.
She's like the creepy doll.
So they they had this. It was like in like the 20s. Like I've read the story, and there was um originally it was just like a giant Raggedy Ann doll. Like that's the actual doll, but they made it like really creepy in the movies.
Mm.
Um, but the real doll is in a museum in Connecticut. And there was this one biker dude one day. Well, I don't want to say biker dude because bikers are usually pretty cool. This is one a-hole that happened to have a motorcycle.
Okay.
Um, he goes in and he starts like messing with it. Like before, like it's in a case now. It says do not touch, but before then it wasn't in a case. And so this one biker dude's like poking at it and it's like, what the fuck? Like this really scared because originally, this two sisters got it, because they were both nurses and they shared an apartment together. Um, and he's like, oh, this ain't scary. They were women, that's why they were scared. Like they were, forgot where they put it. And so, but then the dude like crashes his bike on his way home. I don't know if he died or not, but he just like I remember that story coming out. I was like, oh my god, that thing's really cursed. So afterwards, they put it in like a case. Um, and then like a few years ago. I think it's on one of my playlists, like unexplained mysteries, but it turned out to be debunked. But the doll like had gone missing. I was like, oh my god, no.
Oh
But
shit.
it turns out it was just like it was an article that was mistranslated because there was like this Japanese or Asian like tourist
Okay,
group that
okay.
came in there, and it was just mistranslated when it was translated into English that it had gone missing. It had just said something else, but yeah, that's cool.
And do we know where the curse came from initially? Do we know, is that like a part of the lore or?
Not initially. It was, or maybe it was explained at some point, but it just the two sisters had tried to throw it out, and it appeared back in the house, and they
Oh,
would leave it on a chair, and suddenly the next time they come in the room, it was on the floor.
no.
Like they didn't have any dogs, like they didn't have any
No.
pets. Like it just yeah. So
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I had
No, thank you.
this one of my first girlfriends. Her parents and like aunts and all, they used to buy her these like collectible Barbie dolls, and which is like fine, whatever. But at night, when they're like in bed and they're
Oh,
like staring at you,
oh no, the
yeah.
worst. No,
So
and
I
when
was
you
like,
have a bunch, you have a bunch of them as well. You have an
yeah, there's a
army.
whole.
You have an army on your fucking
I was like,
shelf,
they did a
and they're all
Rugrats
like,
episode about that. Do you remember Rugrats?
"Heck yes, I remember
Yeah,
Rugrats. Heck
I
yes, what
I
a
forget
show!"
forget the name of the episode, but Stu is like a toy builder. He builds like a clown called Mr. Friend.
Oh
And
God.
Mr. Friend is like, hey, Tommy, here's Mr. Friend. And he pokes at it, and then like it has like a bug in it where it continues to say things and like, looks like it's coming at you. So,
Mm.
you know, Tommy or Chucky, they like trip it and um it falls and the batteries pop out and they start crying because they're like, oh my God, this thing's gonna kill us. But the
Oh God.
parents think that they're crying because the batteries came out.
Oh
And they're
God.
like,
So they're like, "Oh,
so
we'll fix it for you. We'll fix it."
so
No.
so basically at the end of the episode, he makes like an army of these Mr. Friend things, and they go ham with like Tommy takes like this fake lawnmower and like they just destroy like 100 of these dolls, and it was really cool. But I remember them only showing that once, and I think it was because it was too scary.
That is
And
scary, dude.
they they've done that with lots of things. Like there's an episode of SpongeBob I remember they only played once. There's an episode of like Fairly Odd Parents. Remember that Hey Arnold as well. Did you
Brilliant,
ever?
brilliant. Fairly Odd Parents, love it. Hey
Yeah.
Arnold, love it. All the cartoon. Oh, dude, I was total loved all of that, all of those. Yeah, brilliant. So good.
What was your favorite one when you were younger?
Oh, I loved Courage the Cowardly Dog. I think
Yeah.
was like my favorite, and it was scary. It had a lot of scary stuff in
Yeah.
it. It was so.
Y7 my ass.
Eh, yeah. And the slab, return the slab. Do you remember that episode?
I don't
It
remember that
was
one.
oh my God, it was nightmare fuel. It was terrifying. You gotta look it up. You gotta look that up.
What's it called?
But
Nightmare Stuff? Or was it?
no, it was if you type in return the slab, Courage the Cowardly Dog, you should get like the image of the guy. He's got like wispy hair and he's like a skeleton. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that dude.
do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, so scary. But yeah, Courage the Cowardly Dog, I loved. Um, do you remember Foster's? Was it Foster's Home for
Yeah,
Imaginary
Home for Imaginary Friends.
Friends?
That was so good.
Yes,
Yeah.
so good. Um, yeah, Fairly Odd Parents loved. Cartoon Network was like my most. That was probably where I caught most of my channel or my cartoons.
Yeah.
Johnny Bravo, Ed and Eddie was like my
Oh, those are
favorite
great.
as well. Yeah.
I've been waiting for more
Um,
Cartoon Network stuff. Like Ed and Eddie would be
yes.
great. We have the IP. We have the license. We should
With
utilize that more.
so many, oh my God, from Cartoon Network. I'm trying to think like back in the, can you spitball me some ones from like
So that
15 years ago? I'm gonna look it up
yeah,
actually.
yeah. So there's Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. You had regular show. Regular show was so good. I actually just rewatched that recently. That was amazing. We already have Adventure Time. We had that. This was Disney, but this was a thing called Gravity Falls. It was like that was so good. That was
Seen a
amazing.
wee bit of it. Seen a little bit.
Yeah,
Oh, Powerpuff Girls, who we
yeah.
obviously have, but I watched them religiously as well. Dexter as
Oh, Dexter's
well.
Laboratory.
Dexter and Dee Dee, so good. I love the opening tune to that.
To
So good. Oh,
did you
Spy Kids. Remember? Do you remember Spy Kids? Or
Kids Next Door?
Codename Kids Next Door. Codename
Yeah.
Kids Next Door. Yes.
Did
Do you
you
remember?
ever see that
Sorry.
movie? Sorry.
Go go go. Which one?
Oh, the Kids Next Door movie, like the last, like
No.
it was sad. So you
Is
know the
it?
delightful children from down the lane.
Yeah.
They were actually these. They were former Kids Next Door agents, but the father, like their father, had used some type of ray to make them, and they're delightful children like forever, like they'll never grow up. And
Oh,
and
okay.
number one, his dad was Agent Zero, and he has this machine to make him remember who he was, and then um, so he needs his help for something. So I was like, okay, cool, needs his help for something, and actually, number one, his dad is brothers with father from Kids Next Door. So like that's his
Oh,
uncle
no
that he's been fighting like all these
way.
years.
What?
And then at the end, he has to like it's like we need you, Dad, in the Kids Next Door. It's like I have another job, and then he takes the machine, he destroys it, it's like being your dad, and then he goes back to forgetting everything. He's like, no.
Oh, God. Yeah, they do so well. They do so well, like tying in um pretty like heartfelt stories, right? To those kind
Feel.
of cartoons and stuff. Yeah, the feels. Oh, the feels. But yeah, I'm just looking here. Do you remember Samurai Jack?
Yeah, it was epic.
So good. Oh, dude. So freaking good. Who else have we got here? Looney Tunes, obviously. Tom and Jerry. You watch Tom
Yeah,
and Jerry?
yeah, those are great. Um,
I don't know if I don't know if it's not Cartoon Network. It's like, what would Tom and Jerry be? It's not Looney Tunes either, is
Um,
it?
I don't know. Is that like a Hanna-Barbera production, like the Smurfs and
Mm,
Flintstones and Jetsons? I think that was part of that whole thing back in the day.
okay. Oh, Wild Thornberries? Do you remember
Yes,
that?
I
That's
love that.
so good. So fucking good.
Nigel
Um,
is my favorite character ever.
yes.
Do you remember the?
Such a wee bit, I think. Was that like his thing? Was that like what he
No,
did?
it was just in like one episode where it's like one of Eliza or Debbie's friends, where Nigel has to accept an award that night on like TV. So he goes to like the friends. Oh yes, I'll be on TV tonight, but I look very different on camera. You might not recognize me, so I'll do this when I go up on stage. Yeah. So when he's accepting his award, and he's like, before he introduces himself, he goes, yeah.
Should we just do that from now on?
Okay.
Yeah, as we introduce ourselves,
Um,
so we can recognize each other. Oh, heck
I'm gonna
yes.
do that the first time I see you. I go,
Yes, yes, we'll do this. Ah! Okay, deal, deal. For sure.
deal. Hey,
Cool, cool, man. Oh, but dude, I'm maybe gonna wrap it up. We've been on like an hour and a half.
yeah, sure.
This has been like again I have no notes. I have some here. I didn't even look at them. Don't need them when it's, one of the bros from the fam. It's just so easy to come on and like chat shit and get all nostalgic and everything. Talk about all the crazy things that are possibly to come, when it comes to Veve, when it comes to the NFT space, when it comes to VR. Who Randy is joining us in VR at the weekend. I cannot wait.
Can't wait.
Your life, dude, it really helped me to like solidify and see what everything that we've been talking about, right? Like all of the ideas that we've had of what the VV verse could eventually be. VR chat is very much, it's all free, open source, it's all built by creators, it's all user generated.
Yeah.
Whereas VV is going to have the commercial, the licensed, the graphical capacity, so VR chat is just like a very simple, free, janky kind of version of what we all imagine the Vverse is going to be. So I cannot wait to take you around and show you everything. And then we'll
I
we'll
can't
have
wait.
maybe another chat in the next couple of weeks if you're down.
I'm game.
We can go over it. Yeah, man. So Randy, thank you so much. I've got a bunch of comments. I didn't even look at them. I love you guys. Thank
Okay,
you for coming and
I'll watch them
watching.
later in the comments. All
Yes,
right, I
watch
love
it.
you
There's
guys.
a couple. But thank you, Randy. You absolute gem. You're a
Yeah,
legend.
sure.
Everybody make sure you're subscribed. I'm sure everybody is. But yeah, thanks again, Randy. Just sit tight for
Yep,
we chat after. But love you guys. Thank you so much, Randy. Take it easy.
of
Bye
course.
everyone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bye.
Oh, there she goes.
Meow 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 meow
Yeah,
meow.
little bit.
It's ending. I don't know if it's ended yet.
Oh,